Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sussex Champions, the podcast where royal headlines meet real talk, where Palace PR gets a reality check, and where we separate carefully staged optics from what's actually happening behind the scenes. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about unpacking royal narratives, questioning the official spin, and looking at how power, privilege, and public image collide in real time. And if you're returning, thank you for being part of this growing community. Grab a cup of tea, or perhaps half a pint, because today's episode is all about pubs, princes, and performative relatability. Let's get into it. On Tuesday, the Prince and Princess of Wales wrapped up their third and final official engagement in Scotland with a visit to a community-run pub in Fallin, a former mining village just outside Stirling. The pub's official name is the Gothenburg, but locals call it the Goth, which frankly sounds far cooler and far more authentic than anything Kensington Palace could workshop. This visit was clearly meant to signal groundedness, community, togetherness. The Waleses stepping into a space that's supposed to represent the very soul of British life. William ordered half a pint of cider. Kate did not drink. Already the optics were doing a lot of work. Once seated, Prince William leaned fully into the theme. He spoke at length about how much he loves pubs, how he grew up in them, how pubs are the heart of the community, how they're crucial for human connection. And look, he's not wrong. British pubs are community hubs. They're where friendships form, where loneliness eases, where conversation happens without screens. With pubs closing at alarming rates, the topic is serious and worthy of attention. But here's the thing. When William says, "I grew up in pubs," it lands strangely. Because no, sir, you grew up in Kensington Palace, surrounded by staff, security, and unimaginable privilege. Visiting pubs is not the same thing as being shaped by them. This is where the message starts to wobble. To be fair, this wasn't just a casual stop for a drink. The visit coincided with growing concern over the collapse of Britain's pub industry. An estimated one pub per day closed permanently in England and Wales during 2025. Since the year 2000, 15,000 pubs have shut their doors. Rising costs, increased business rates, and tax changes announced in Rachel Reeves' recent budget have pushed many landlords to the brink. Even The Telegraph, hardly a radical outlet, has launched a campaign to save Britain's pubs. The government says relief is coming. Details still unclear, so yes, this is a legitimate issue. And yes, having a senior royal highlight, it brings attention. But attention without substance has limits. Inside the Goth, William spoke with publican Rob Donaldson and locals about the social role of the pub, the banter, the joking, the so-called slagging off that friends do with each other. William laughed, saying everyone needs a bit of that now and then, that it keeps people grounded. It was meant to feel relaxed, normal, almost ladlike. Meanwhile, Kate sat at a separate table, speaking with teachers, and was gifted a crochet bunny for Princess Charlotte, a soft, maternal moment carefully placed within the visit. As they prepared to leave, Kate noticed William's unfinished drink and told him, "You need to finish that." William laughed and said he wanted to stay on best behaviour. Cue chuckles, cue headlines, cue carefully selected photos. Here's the uncomfortable part. Prince William's affection for alcohol is not exactly a secret. His relationship with drinking has long been whispered about, joked about, and quietly acknowledged. So when pubs suddenly become his cause, it raises questions. Is this about saving community spaces, or is it about reframing a personal habit as public advocacy? Supporting pubs is fine. Repeating "I absolutely love pubs" over and over again, however, starts to feel less like concern and more like brand management. Sometimes saying less would do more. As the Waleses arrived at the pub, they were heckled by a member of the public who shouted questions about Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein, accusing the royal family of covering up for Andrew. Now, heckling outside a pub is never a great look. But what stood out even more was the crowd size, or rather, the lack of one. Watch the video carefully. There were more police officers than royal fans, just a handful of people waiting. No cheering masses, no overwhelming enthusiasm. And this is where the disconnect becomes glaring. Because we're constantly told, through polls, headlines and breathless commentary, that William and Kate are the most popular royals ever. Untouchable. Beloved. So where was everyone? Surely, if that narrative were true, they could have drawn more than literally twos of people to a community pub visit. This visit was meant to project warmth, relatability and leadership. Instead, it exposed something else. A reliance on tired tropes, a widening gap between royal self-image and public response, and a growing sense that the most popular royals narrative may be doing more heavy lifting than reality supports pubs matter. Communities matter. Human connection matters. But authenticity matters most of all. So yes, save the pubs, support local communities, talk about real economic pressures. But maybe don't pretend Kensington Palace was a corner local. And maybe, just maybe, listen more than you perform. Thank you so much for listening to Sussex Champions. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate and share, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Were you convinced by the visit? Or did it feel like another carefully staged half-pint of optics? Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and I'll see you in the next episode.